What's up, guys? It's Ben with 2020 election predictions, and it is May 15th, the day that I'm going to announce my giveaway. And I'm really excited, but I'll be doing that at the end of the video. Please stay tuned for that. And today I'm going to be doing a video of a 2024 hypothetical presidential matchup between Mike Pence and Gavin Newsom. And the reason I'm doing that is because on one of my last videos, the top comment by Beckham Brooklyn Penza with 9 likes suggested this video. So my fans talked and I listened. So here we go. This is where I think the electoral map um, starts out. As you can see, there's a lot of toss-up states. I think there's a lot of uncertainty going into 2024. But I definitely think that Virginia, Colorado, and Nevada, while they could have been toss-up states like in the early 2000s and maybe even like in 2008, 2012. I think these states are trending blue so much so that by 2024 they'll kind of be long gone as swing states. And just to clarify before I get into it, I frankly don't necessarily think that Mike Pence or Gavin Newsom will be the nominees for president in 2024. But it is a possibility. And of course, this scenario would be if Trump won the election in 2020, very likely. I don't think that Mike Pence would run in 2024 if Trump loses in 2020. That typically doesn't happen, but we've seen it many times in the past where a vice president has run right after a president. For example, in 2000, when Al Gore ran for president, or even now, Joe Biden, a former vice president, is running, and also George H.W. Bush in 1988. So, diving right in, I'm going to start with the lean Democratic states. I definitely think that Minnesota will lean to the Democrats. I don't think Mike Pence is going to have the same appeal that Donald Trump had in these Rust Belt states, although Mike Pence was the former governor of Indiana. I just don't think that a traditionally Democratic state, a state that Donald Trump even lost, will go to Mike Pence in 2024. And next up is New Hampshire. New Hampshire is very similar. While it was very close in 2020, I don't see this state going to Mike Pence in a hypothetical matchup. Even though Gavin Newsom, from being a governor of California, won't necessarily appeal a lot to kind of these more Rust Belt East states, I think just being a Democrat will help him a lot. And I don't think Mike Pence will necessarily gain any voters that Donald Trump in didn't already in 2016 and potentially in 2020. And also Michigan, I have in the lean Democrat column. Trump did win this state very narrowly in 2016, and it's really going to be a very contested state in 2020. I do think it is likely that Trump loses the state in 2020, but also it's just a complete toss up. Obviously, the polling here was not very accurate in 2016, and I could see Trump winning this state in 2020 again. But there, in 2024, I think it will be a lot harder if Mike Pence is at the top of the ticket. Well, I do think it will help. It will help him, like being Trump's vice president, and Mike Pence can attach himself to Trump, and I do think Trump will campaign for him if he ends up being the Republican nominee. But already, Trump hasn't committed to endorsing Mike Pence as own vice president if he runs in 2024. And the last state that leans to the Democrats is Pennsylvania. Um, I think Pennsylvania is a little similar to Michigan in that it is one of these Rust Belt states where Trump barely won it. Wisconsin is a little different. I think it's an outlier. I think that Republicans have more of an advantage there than Michigan and Pennsylvania. But I think that Gavin Newsom would have probably a 3 to 4 point advantage in Pennsylvania. So next up, going to the lean Republican states, Ohio and Iowa. I think these states you can kind of lump together. They're both states that Trump won by about 10 points in 2016. I think he'll win these states by at least 5 points in 2020. And I think that Trump has kind of changed politics so much. And even though Obama won these states twice in 2008, 2012, I think that these states will remain Republican for years to come, even after Trump goes. So I think that any Republican should win Ohio and Iowa by a pretty good margin, by at least 3 points, I would say, Mike Pence. And of course, being the former governor of Indiana, Ohio's right next to it. He was a pretty popular governor. And Iowa, they all have very similar demographics. A lot of high percentage of the whites, blue collar workers. So I think Mike Pence would be able to connect with these voters. So next up, going to the tilt Republican states. Obviously, the tilt states kind of could go either way. I would probably leave them more as a toss up, especially just because the 2024 election is so far in the future. But the first state is Texas. Um, a lot of people think Texas might turn blue in 2024. Like people 10 years ago were saying it could turn blue by 2020. I don't think it will turn blue by 2020. I still think that Republicans hold a distinct advantage as they've had for a while. But as the demographics change, there's the potential it could turn blue 2024. The reason why I don't think it will is because Mike Pence, the reason Trump chose him as the nominee is because he wanted to shore up his evangelical base. And I think Texas, um, even though that Texas does have a lot of Hispanics, which traditionally are not part of the base of the Republican Party, I think Mike Pence can appeal to a lot of the Christian Hispanics who take their faith seriously, which is a large percentage of the Hispanics in the South. And so I think that Mike Pence can kind of appeal to the Christians and say, hey, look, I'm this moral leader. And I don't think Trump can do this as much. Obviously, he's been married 3 times. He's had extramarital affairs. But I think Mike Pence can really appeal to this message, say like, hey, I do what I preach, and I'm a really faithful guy. And the mainstream media and all these things, they make fun of our Christianity and our ethics. But I think Mike Pence can really send this message home. And another state in the Bible Belt that I think will lean to the Republicans is North Carolina. Obama did win the state in 2008, and it is increasingly becoming a swing state. But I think Mike Pence can hammer down the same message, be a Bible thumper, and appeal to um, the evangelical Christians in North Carolina, which is a large percentage of the populations. While a lot of the Republicans' evangelical bases in the South, because it's a larger percentage in like North Carolina and Texas, I think that Mike Pence will successfully, because that kind of is his bread and butter. And then same with Georgia. North Carolina and Georgia are very similar. They have high African American populations, but I still think that Mike Pence will be able to hold on to these states that Trump won in 2016, and I think likely will win in 2020 as well. So, lastly, going to the tilt Democrat states, the first one I wanted to go to is Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin is a little bit more favorable to the Republicans than Michigan and Pennsylvania, but I just do not think that Mike Pence will have that same appeal that Trump has. Um, some people would joke that Trump picked Mike Pence to kind of equalize his ticket. Like Trump is this very like intense guy who is not afraid to go after people, but Mike Pence is a very controlled guy and very calm guy, and I just don't think that Mike Pence has the can inspire enough voters with kind of the change and the revolution that Trump kind of ran on in 2016, and I think can still be successful in 2020. I think Mike Pence will kind of represent kind of the status quo, even though if he tries to campaign that he is this transformational figure, I really just don't think he can do that because that's not his style. He was trying to normalize Trump in some ways and trying to defend him, and that's kind of his whole role. In Arizona, I think regardless of who's the Republican or the Democrat, I think Arizona is almost too far gone for the Republicans. The demographic change in Arizona has been very fast, and although I think it will be close in the future, I think that Arizona is going to be a state that's trending blue just forever and ever. And I think it's like Texas. I think Arizona is a little bit ahead of Texas in terms of becoming more democratic day by day. And I also think Gavin Newsom being the governor of California, it will transfer over, and some people who like him in California will move to Arizona. And lastly is Florida. Florida's a state that's actually been trending Republican a little bit, but it's always within 1 or 2 points every election cycle. And I just don't think that Mike Pence will have the same appeal to the white working class in Florida. And because Florida is just such a big state. I just think that Gavin Newsom will be able to appeal to the people of Florida a lot. And obviously, as you can see, the Democrats win by a pretty handy margin, 318 to 218. I didn't fill in the districts of Maine and Nebraska, but obviously a lot of things can change. The Mike Pence was obviously the head of the coronavirus task force. This for sure could help him. And Gavin Newsom is also becoming more and more unpopular as he's kind of shutting down the state of California. So that could obviously change a lot of things. And obviously, if Gavin Newsom is that unpopular, he probably won't become the Democratic nominee. And obviously, if Republicans realize that Mike Pence is not going to be this inspirational, revolutionary guy, they probably won't elect him to be his nominee. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to announce my giveaway to 3 lucky random subscribers. So these were just random people that I picked out. But if these 3 people, if they could either comment their Venmo or send me an email with their Venmo, then I will Venmo you $15. And then I will take screenshots of the receipts and put them in my next video so that I can be good on my word. So without further ado, Adam SC, Carlo Guinacor, and Nut Vivor. And sorry if I butchered the pronunciations. Y'all are eligible for $15, so please just contact me with your Venmo, and I will get that right to you. And next video, I'm going to announce another giveaway, but my goal will be 500 subscribers by the end of the month, and I will announce what that giveaway will be. But thank y'all so much for being loyal fans, and please comment more videos ideas so I can do. Thanks.